After having a long and distinguished career as a hockey player, which ended without him realizing his lifelong dream of playing in the NHL, hockey ace Herbert H. Carnegie never lost his love for the game. Little did he know that he was about to embark upon a journey that he could never have dreamt of.
You have to remember that the National Hockey League had only 6 teams. It was very difficult to break a lineup. But I always had the feeling that Herb could probably have played in the NHL.
Herb Carnegie stated that he would have eaten a puck at every meal if it was edible, and his on-ice presence showed his appetite. He began his career in the mining towns leagues in the year 1941. While working and playing for a Buffalo-based mining company, he was able to showcase his talents to the public.
Well, the first opportunity that I had to see Herbie Carnegie was when I was 4 years old, living up in Timmins, Ontario. And at that particular time, my dad had taken me to my first hockey game, organized hockey game between the Buffalo Anchorite hockey team and the Hollinger Green Shirts, I believe the name was.
Known as the infamous Black Aces, Herbie Carnegie, Ozzie Carnegie, and Manny McIntyre turned heads and excited hockey fans everywhere they played.
You have to go back to 1945-46 context. Things were quite different than what it is today. They were a kind of an innovation, especially in hockey. The 3 of them were very good players. One hard-working guy, the other one with a big shot, the other one with a play-making. Those are the type of style that you need to make a very good line.
They were very talented, and at that young age, your mind, you'd start imagining things, and these fellas, the way they carried the puck down the ice, Herbie, he was a finesse player, you know, and he just stood out in my mind with his skating ability and his style.
I had known Herbie for most of my life because Herbie and I played against each other as juniors. He was with Northern Vocational out of Toronto, and I was with the Barrie Colts. It's Barrie Flyers now, but it used to be the Barrie Colts. And actually, he was instrumental in making my decision to play football because he went around me so many times playing against him. I said, this is no life for me.
Also referred to as the Three Raiders, Brown Bombers, and Dark Destroyers, the Black Aces is what stuck in people's minds, as did their awesome style of play.
And it was Herbie Carnegie that kind of stood out in my mind, the way he played, that was similar to Joe Primo and these characters that were with the Toronto Maple Leafs at the time. So he had an effect on my imagination to become a hockey player.
After retiring as a player, Herb chose to direct his energies into endeavors that benefited hockey and the community. He realized that the game needed more than just skill. It required the right attitude, commitment, and sportsmanship to assist young players in reaching their full potential both on and off the ice, helping form the Creed, which would become the foundation for the Future Aces Hockey School.
I mean, in terms of the development of the game, there's no question that Herb, I think, was one of the first to get involved in setting up this style of hockey school and developing this type of approach to the skills for the young players. And I would certainly say that he was a builder, absolutely, of this game.
I think the way Carnegie connected to kids, he saw more in them than they did in themselves, and that was transformative for me. Every time he saw me, and this is true of all the kids that played there, he was glad to see us, and he never distinguished between somebody who was really talented and somebody who was a klutz.
The Creed is prevalent in many organizations today and is a major part of development in the United States and Canadian hockey associations.
As a strength and conditioning coach, I've used the Creed in handing them out to the different athletes and having them, before going on the ice, for example, reading a different paragraph from the Creed and then trying to emulate some of those as they play the game.
The Future Aces Hockey School philosophy garnered the admiration of Globe and Mail reporter Fanny Bobby Rosenfeld, the Canadian woman athlete of the half-century, recognized for demonstrating the highest ideals in sportsmanship. Later, the creed found its way into the curriculum of schools in Canada, in particular in Ontario, and even in some schools overseas as part of a self-awareness program, giving students the vision to achieve their goals honestly and sincerely, being confident without being arrogant, and displaying sportsmanship through recognizing fair play to all, not complaining about adverse situations, but accepting the bad with the good.
So I felt pretty much worthless. I thought I'm just going with the cycle or whatever, but then she sort of broke it. So then when I actually went to the conference and I'm seeing all the stuff that Herb had done and whatnot, I say, like, I compare it to how we're living today and how he was living back then, and pretty much I had nothing on him. So stuff like that, it changes you.
Your attitude is the key to your success or your failure.
We have to provide these opportunities, and it's remarkable that Herb has taken time out, spent as much time as he has building the foundation, building the kind of support for young people that makes it possible for them to participate actively in the sport, and also understanding all the elements of the sport that are there: sportsmanship, integrity, going forward, trying, persistence, all those character building traits that we recognize as being part of what sports is all about.
Apart from Mr. Carnegie's playing career and being founder of the Future Aces program, he was also a pioneer in teaching children and their parents the finer aspects of the game, printing and distributing numerous hockey handbooks. He developed the Carnegie system of positional hockey and would later patent the Magnetic Hockey Instructional Board to accommodate his teachings.
Before that, we were using clipboards and trying to draw sort of diagrams on a piece of paper. And when you got a whole group of 6, 7, 8-year-olds, it's kind of hard to keep their attention to start with.
It was later adopted by NHL teams and coaches like Turk Broda, Sam Pollock, and St. Michael's Major's Bob Goldham, just to name a few. The board game entitled Pass and Score, which was also developed by Carnegie and endorsed by Punch Imlach and Frank Mahovlich, taught children and their parents the game of hockey, promoting his philosophy that if parents knew how to play the game, they would appreciate it further and thereby become more supportive of their young hockey players. Marvel Comics dedicated special edition issues of Spider-Man entitled Skating on Thin Ice and Double Trouble to reflect Herb's theory of building character in hockey and how it related to life experiences.
You look at a building, you say, well, that's his monument, right? Well, then you look at Future Aces, and you look at the faces of young people who are doing better, who are out there playing sports instead of something else. And that's Herb's monument.
To this day, Herb Carnegie serves as a role model for young hockey players, and in particular, minority hockey players of all ages. It was no wonder that when the first Canadian Multicultural Hockey League was formed, Herb was consulted and invited to drop the ceremonial hockey puck in December 2005. Herbert H. Carnegie holds the distinction of being York Region's Honorary Chief of Police and has received several community service awards, including the Ontario Medal of Good Citizenship and having the North York Centennial Arena renamed after him. In addition, he has been inducted to 7 Halls of Fame, including Canada's Sports Hall of Fame, and he was granted the Queen's Silver Jubilee Medal, the Order of Ontario, and the prestigious Order of Canada. What was developed at a hockey school more than 50 years ago will culminate at a 50th year anniversary gala on March 30th this year to mark the creation of the Future Aces Creed. Former hockey players of the school, educators, and beneficiaries of the Creed will be invited to celebrate this significant milestone. Herb Carnegie's love for the game of hockey has led him on a journey that, in his earlier years, he could never have dreamt of, one that he now considers a dream come true.